Good evening, everyone. I'm Dave Eldon, and I've got a special treat for everybody today. So I'm with my friend
Zenaide Beckham, aka Zbexx.
All right, and if you do not recognize the scenery, we're coming to you live from Portland, Oregon. This is GP Portland, and this is actually like super fitting because I actually met Zenaide at Gen Con, which is in Indianapolis, which is like kind of my backyard. And so I traveled all the way out here to GP Portland, which is right around where you're based out of, yes?
Yep, 2 hours away, so close enough that I could drive.
Right about exactly this far away as India is from me. So
Cool.
Yeah, and I suppose more of a treat for you because like there isn't a lot of driving distance spots in this side of the country as there is in the Midwest. In the Midwest, it's great. So yeah, this is really awesome. As you can see, she is a cosplayer, and tell us a little bit about. Oh gosh. All right. So that was only one. That was only one. So we've got two more to go. I really hope I don't get hit two more times by Etrata, and this is very fierce. So yes, a cosplayer.
Yes. I've cosplayed Magic since 2011, and today I am cosplaying as Etrata the Silencer, one of my newer cosplays from the recent release set Magic's Guilds of Ravnica.
And it's the Bastien d'Armes artwork. Yes, not the Igor Kyrillik one.
Correct.
So there actually is two artworks of this card. So
the one that you can open from a pack versus the one that you can buy in the Guild Kit Dimir deck.
Yeah. So a very awesome Dimir themed card, and one of my favorite new characters from the new set. We'll get you a picture up on screen for when we edit this. But this is it's actually really excellent cosplay. First of all, I wanted to say that the scabbard there. How did you make the sword?
So the dagger was originally a pirate sword that I purchased very inexpensively from the internet, and then I used thermoplastics called Thebra, both Thebra Tex and regular Thebra, to mold the shape of her dagger and then hide the pirate part of it. And then I also used acrylic paints to give the shadowing details you can see where the light hits it versus where the shadows are for when I'm about to kill someone. Yeah.
All right. So and how did you get interested in cosplaying?
I got interested in cosplay because I've always been a dancer growing up, so being on stage and being in outfits, usually heavily sequined, but putting myself out there has always been something that I've been interested in doing. So when I first attended a Magic event, which was Pro Tour Dark Ascension in Honolulu, just as an attendee, I knew how to play a little bit, but I didn't know a lot about the game, so I wanted to do something to fit in. So I dressed up as Liliana of the Veil, since she just came out in Innistrad. It was very casual. It was not as on point to the art of the cards as I do it these days, but that's really how I got myself introduced into cosplay. It was just wanting to look cool like a Magic card.
You wanted to look cool, so this is, I feel like this is like the same origin story that a lot of Magic players have. It's like, I wanted to be cool, so I started playing Magic.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's really awesome. So how do you get your ideas for which characters you want to cosplay?
Well, I really like to look at a new set and see what the new characters are, or I also like to look at what event the Grand Prix that I'm going to is. So for Etrata, for example, I saw her art a couple of weeks before the pre-release, and I actually got this outfit ready in a couple of weeks, and I wore it to the midnight pre-release. Where another cosplay that I've brought this weekend is Thalia. Grand Prix Portland is a modern Grand Prix, so even though she's not newer, there's going to be a lot of people playing modern cards. So
Thalia is popular.
I like to stick with something that's current or recognizable, and something that I think is aesthetically pleasing.
All right, awesome. Yeah, that's like being recognizable is definitely like a big thing. I imagine that'd be like pretty sad as a cosplayer if like someone's like, so do you dress up like that normally?
Do you remember the Commander 2014 decks that came out with the Planeswalkers?
Oh yeah.
You would be surprised.
Teferi?
Yeah, Teferi.
The good Teferi Planeswalker.
Nahiri before she went all Harbinger-ish.
Yeah, the good Nahiri.
Yeah. You would be surprised how many people at GP Vegas, when I said I'm a white planeswalker, said, Elspeth?
Yeah.
Like, no, but that's okay. She
Well,
she
you know,
hadn't
the
seen her
artwork
day
for the
yet.
cards is like this big,
I
so
know.
you know you can't really pick out the detail too well unless you're really looking for it, I guess. All right, so like when you go to these GPs, what does a typical like day look like for you?
Well, I'm a pretty competitive Magic player, so
Okay.
I like to play in the main event. So a day like today, Friday before the main event, I get to come hang out, a little bit more relaxed, take my time. The day of the GP, I get up pretty early so that I can get my makeup all done. I usually have a repair kit with me just in case to bring along.
Oh gosh, yeah, I bet
As
that.
well as my Magic decks, my deck list if that needs to be submitted. So just like any other Magic player going to an event, I'm doing all of that, plus making sure that I have all of my cosplay stuff with me.
Now, like when you wake up and you got to like get in costume here, how long does that take compared to like how long it normally takes you to get ready when you're not in a costume?
So the eye makeup on Etrata, I don't know
Oh,
how well you
wow.
can see it
Wow.
here, but it's pretty detailed.
I'm not sure if like the
I don't know if
glitter is
The
something
camera
that.
will pick it up.
Oh, it will.
Okay, but yeah, so that's not something I do every day, and definitely the dark eyeliner. So the eyes themselves took probably about 15 or 20 minutes longer than my regular routine.
Okay.
And I also do wear heavier makeup than just every day, because if you have
Makes
photos
sense.
taken, you want something to balance out the lights a little bit better.
Yeah.
Just like anybody taking photos for anything, newscasters,
Right.
actresses. So.
Now I noticed you also have your hair in this fairly elaborate braid here. Is that also like something that you do normally?
Yes, I do love to braid my hair.
Show the people.
This is just a regular Dutch braid, which means you put the strands under instead of going over.
Okay.
I braid my hair a lot. If you follow me, you'll find on my stories or randomly, I'll be like, this is how you do this new braid that I tried out. So my hair actually is probably the quickest part for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now you said if you follow you, does that mean that you're active on any social media platforms?
Oh, yes. If you'd like to pay attention to more of my cosplay or hair braiding and other activities that I do, magic included, you can follow me at Zbexx. That's ZBEXX on Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr. My Twitch channel is Z_BEXX. And same on YouTube, you can find me at Z_BEXX.
And we'll have a link to that in the description. You all don't have to try and remember that and write that down and pause the video here. You can just click on the link. So that's awesome. And then like the actual costume itself, I imagine like putting on these like special fancy kind of clothes is like more in depth than putting on like the normal like clothes.
A little bit, but not too much.
Okay.
Etrata is fairly simple, but definitely.
Because I see all these like buckles and stuff, I was like, oh my gosh, this is like, you know, what it reminded me of is like, you know how when you like get something from the store and they have it in that like easy to get into packaging stuff, like
Yes.
that's what that reminds me of. It's like I bet it took you.
I actually just leave these kind of like pants and just step into them.
Okay,
The
alright.
most difficult item that I've ever had to do is when I was Carrie Zev, having Regavan on my shoulder.
Okay.
I had him propped up, so getting him to be hidden from how I had him propped up, but still there,
okay, yeah.
with my then putting the clothing on over the device was probably the most complicated outfit I've ever put on.
All right, awesome. So, like, what's it like playing in a Magic tournament like this? Do you get like a bunch of like people looking at you funny or asking you questions and coming up to you more than you normally would?
People definitely watch your matches more. I've definitely been on a feature match. Well, my record was good, but also I think part of it was because I was in cosplay. Opponents definitely are kind of confused, or they'll say things like, oh, you must be playing Demir today. And my cosplays, I have cosplays of all different colors, so ironically sometimes they match up or sometimes they don't.
Oh, you don't go like the hard strat, like the people who have like the mono red mountain deck box and it's like, you know, it's blue white controller or something completely different.
Sometimes it's like that, or sometimes I do match, just kind of depends. But so you can totally
Balance
tell
the
that
range.
people, especially your opponents, are like, oh, does that mean that she's going to be playing Demir today?
Oh yeah. Magic players find those advantages everywhere. It's absolutely So, what kind of preparations do you have to do, like before you go out on the floor? Like you said, you had like a emergency kit for repairs.
Yeah, I've got to make sure that I have everything with me. Just like if you had your magic deck, you want to make sure you have your sideboard cards and maybe some extra ones the day before the tournament. Well,
Like the extra sleeves.
yeah, I make sure to have extra makeup, a mirror, extra thread. Depending on what the costume is, I might have some glue, like some super duty glue.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
Safety pins, bobby pins for my hair. Basically, I have a whole little plastic baggie with me that's a whole bunch of stuff just in case.
Yeah, okay, well that definitely makes sense. When you go to these trips, do you spend like most of your time interacting with fans, or do you take time for yourself to enjoy the city?
Most times I will have maybe an evening to enjoy the city, and the other part of it I spend hanging out with my fans and friends and enjoying the event. That's what I come here for. I really plan parts of my year around it. So
Awesome.
If it's a city that I haven't been to before, like Indiana, I was there for 3 more days than I usually
Oh yeah,
was.
Indiana's got a bunch of really great cultural attractions, folks. I want to point that out to everybody.
I just want to say, if you've never seen lightning bugs, they have
Oh,
those
we
there.
do. That is a very true fact.
We don't have those here in Oregon.
If you've
so.
ever seen like the movies where they go around with the jars, the little kids go around with the jars collecting the lightning bugs, that's a real thing.
I
that
thought it
people
was
do.
fake, and I know
that's
it's
100%
true.
real. That's 100. I did that as a kid.
So yeah, I have gone to see some things in cities when I go out, but mostly I'm just hanging out at the event, and everything that I've brought with me is for the event, for my cosplays, for playing Magic.
Awesome.
So.
Awesome. Okay, so what would you say is something that you've learned from cosplaying?
Oh, I've learned so much from cosplaying. Probably the most that I've learned is techniques.
Okay.
So as far as both makeup and art go, I've done a lot of research, and I've always been a creative, crafty person,
All right.
but I've definitely taken my skills and really maximized their ability. I've invested a lot of time into visiting with makeup artists to really make sure that I'm presenting my face, how the character looks, as well as like my dagger here, how I was describing how I have the highlights and the lowlights painted on, just to give that extra oomph for photos. So I've really learned how to take something that I enjoy and just try to make it better and better each time. And it's just given me a lot of skills, even in my sewing.
Awesome.
I've gotten to use boning and other things that I haven't had to work with before and challenged myself.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
So did you sew anything on this costume here?
Yeah, so I sewed the cape, and then I sewed the details on here. The rest of it I bought because this was pretty inexpensive to have just a black jumpsuit and black leggings and the buckles. So a lot of my cosplays I do make more of them.
So this cloak you sewed like the inner
the
lining here
lining.
together with the velvety part on the outside?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, see, that's something that I have like if you gave me like that cloth and some thread and a sewing machine, I'd probably like.
You'll have to throw up a picture of my Amara that I'm wearing tomorrow, because the bodice has a bunch of lace detail and everything. Just the corset on its own was the first time I ever made a corset, and that's
wow.
a lot of little panels sewn together, and they have to line up right to work with curves, not straight lines.
Yeah, you
not
have
just
to,
like a
like, make a
cape where it
pattern.
doesn't have to be as flowy and you can mess up and nobody's gonna notice. So yeah.
Oh wow, that's I'm really looking forward to seeing that one. So that's an exciting one. Okay, so I understand that you're also, in addition to being a cosplayer, you're also a judge.
Yes, I'm a level 1 judge.
Oh, okay. So this is where like the judging for the win part comes in here. So like we get you like the people who are really excellent at what they do and excellent cosplayer. And how did you get involved with the judge program?
I work at a local game store in Eugene.
Okay.
It's family owned, called Addictive Behaviors. And there was a need for more judges in Southern Oregon.
All right.
So our store actually hosted a judge class run by a couple of L2s from the Corvallis area, and there was a bunch of store people that came up from Medford. It was about a 6-week period, and I'd always been interested. I knew the rules. I felt confident about my playing ability, but knew if I learned, like, you know, layers and stuff that I didn't even know what it was, but I knew it was out there.
The layers.
The layers.
Excellent.
Once you understand them, that you actually become a better player. So that was kind of just my drive to be respected, and it was conveniently there. So I took the class and I took the test, and
beautiful.
Here I am. I'm a judge and have worked GPs in addition to cosplaying.
Yeah. So that is awesome. Would you say there's any like crossover? Like, is there any skills that are important in being a cosplayer and also that help you as a judge?
Yes, there's definitely crossover. You need to be able to talk to people well. When you're a judge, if you're giving a ruling or finding out what the situation is on the board state, you need to communicate with both players and use the right words to not lead them to anything, to get them to tell you what's actually going on. In cosplay, you don't necessarily need to lead anybody to a ruling, but you need to talk to them and find out about what they like, and that way you can share what you like. And I think it's really important to be able to connect with people so you can find a common bond. And we all play Magic, but really figuring out how we're connected as a community.
Would you say there's like a big like variety of different things that people get drawn to you as a cosplayer by? Like, is there a bunch of different, is there some common threads that everybody's really interested in, or is it really varied?
I'm not sure I know what you mean by that.
All right, so like you were talking before about how you have to, like, when you're talking with people, you have to find out what they're interested in.
Oh, yeah.
Is the stuff that they're interested in, does it tend to be the same types of subjects, or is it different?
Sometimes it's the same, or sometimes it's completely different, which is really cool. I love learning about different walks of life and different things that people are interested in. Sometimes from finding out about something, I'll be like, oh, that's cool, I want to check that out more too. Or, maybe I'm not interested, but it's cool to know that other nerd stuff is out there that I didn't even know about.
Oh, yeah.
Because everybody has something you can tell when they get really excited and they just want to talk about it. It's cool to be able to be there and listen to them.
Yeah, absolutely. That I think would be something that would be really rewarding. So, all right, do you have any advice for someone who's an aspiring cosplayer? Like, if someone sees you and your fellow cosplayers out there,
just do it and be fabulous.
Do it and be fabulous.
So what I mean by that is, even if you're like, oh my gosh, like I'm never gonna be on that level, don't say that. Just go out there and do it. You can do what I did, which I thought I was cosplaying legit back when I was doing my Liliana. Looking back at it, I'm like, it's nowhere close to what it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
But I just went out there and did it. I had a purple dress, so that kind of matched, I had a gold belt, I had a wig, and I just went out there and did it and had confidence. And then I looked back at it and I'm like, oh, there's some things I could do better. And so then slowly each of my cosplays, I try to make them each better and better. So if you just don't be afraid, just do it. I imagine the same thing could go for judging.
No, that makes a lot of sense.
If you want to do it, just do it. Don't put any roadblocks in front of yourself.
Yeah, and like don't look at other judges. I remember when I first certified, Karsten Hazo was the judge who certified me. He writes Cranial Insertion, one of the writers of that, and he also does he works on the set FAQs that Wizards puts out. Nice. So like really excellent top tier judge, and he certified me. He was one of the very few number of judges that I knew by name before I became a part of the program, and so I was like super starstruck. I was like, oh wow, I'm never going to be judging on this level, and I was kind of intimidated by that too. But like that advice you said, definitely applies to judging as well. I suppose.
If you think that you're going to be held back, or just do what you can, and then you'll think of something later. Like if you don't know how to make a sword, for what I did for the pre-release night, I just had a pirate sword and I just painted it. Honestly, if you just would have, you just got it and you did it, that's something.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be perfect, especially when you're starting out. You should do what makes you happy and just...
And nobody's going to be perfect, like, starting out, and that's, like, true for judging also.
And even when I did it, what I think nowadays is half as good as I do it, I still had people that came up and knew who I was and what I was doing and complimented me. Other people will respect that you are putting yourself out there. You just have to be confident about it.
Absolutely. All right, so any other, like, fun stories from when you were cosplaying? Like, favorite moments, encounter with a fan that really spoke to you, maybe some mistakes that you made earlier in your career that you don't mind sharing with everybody?
Well, my favorite moment definitely has to be last year at Grand Prix Portland.
Okay.
I was 4-0 cosplaying as Vraska Relic Seeker.
So does that mean you like turned all the other Vraska cosplayers to stone or something? Like,
I must have, but the funny thing is I was playing Hazaret Red in this tournament.
Oh, okay.
So, but I got on the feature match and I lost, but that was okay. I still felt good that I was in cosplay. I had a friend who was not playing in the main event, and she heard my name over the loudspeaker and ran up and was like, Zenaide, let me take your picture. Like, give me your phone, give me your phone.
Oh, yeah.
So just seeing that when people heard my name and as the cosplay was all kind of being featured was really an awesome kind of culmination of that all coming together.
Yeah. And like this year at GP Portland, you're actually going to be spell slinging.
Yeah. So I've got a bunch of decks with me today, standard, modern, legacy, 2 commander decks, and a pauper deck. So in case anybody wants to play a game of Magic against Etrata and see if they can beat her without being assassinated,
yeah,
they can try their luck at that.
Now I understand that there's a special rule, which is that you can't play Assassin's Trophy because you are the assassin. And like in a similar vein, you also are immune to all Etrata hits.
Yes, yeah.
As Etrata.
Yes.
So, the flavor judge there making some rulings. Awesome. And anything else you'd like to talk about before we close out?
Well, I'm drawing a blank.
Oh no, say hi to all your fans.
Oh yes,
everybody on social media.
Yeah, well, I would like to say thank you all for following me on my cosplay journey. If you're just finding out about me, I'd love to have you follow along with me. Like I said, I'm always trying to make my cosplays better and innovate with new materials and new techniques. So it's really just about growing our community, and I hope that you can be part of that, because just like the judging community, I'm really fortunate that the cosplay community, especially the Magic cosplay community, is so supportive of each other and uplifting. Yeah. Let's just put more of that out there, just a little preach moment. Just
awesome.
Send the positivity around.
Absolutely. Now, do you cosplay anything like any other characters that are not Magic characters?
Oh yeah.
This is like kind of funny because I already know the answer to this.
Well, when I was going to Gen Con, I found it as the perfect opportunity to really not do Magic, because before that I hadn't done any non-Magic cosplays. So I did Eiley from Chrono Trigger, which is awesome. She's the little prehistoric girl who's part of the royal bloodline, if you played the game. Anyway, and then I also did Captain Marvel in her Star Force suit for the movie that is not out yet, which when we were at Gen Con, this was in August, and the trailer for the movie just dropped probably in like September. It's December now.
Yeah.
So not a lot of people knew who it was, because there were only some photos of her on set with the new suit. So people would see the star and they'd recognize it. But yeah, so there's probably more non-Magic cosplays in my future. I'm actually thinking of doing a Magic and anime mashup.
Oh,
have
like
you
what
ever
they did
seen
with
one of
the
those?
dual decks, the Jason Chandra dual decks, the
Kind
Japanese
of.
ones?
Like, I've seen some interesting cosplays out there that's like Beauty or Belle from Beauty and the Beast mixed with Sailor Moon.
Oh,
so you picture like a Sailor Moon outfit, but like Belle
in that style.
Yeah. So I was thinking of doing maybe a mashup of a Magic character that you'd recognize, but in the right color scheme, but in the style of something different.
Okay,
so,
that sounds actually really interesting. I would love to see that.
It would definitely be a one of a kind. So maybe for Grand Prix Vegas or something.
Okay, yeah. Well, we'll be looking out for you. You heard it here first, folks. This is a Judging for the Win exclusive. Thank you so much, Zbexx, for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Be sure to check out all of our social media. Again, we've got a description. We've got the links in the description below. Have an awesome day, everybody, and signing out here. Good night.